Welcome back into another episode of the Believe in Georgia Tech podcast. We have a very happy podcast today. We have a special guest, one of our favorite guests, maybe our favorite guest. Like we might have to run a poll for that, but I think Najeh is one of our favorite guests. Big recruiting news, obviously. Like I'm not gonna bury the lead here. 4-star safety Tae Harris has just flipped from Clemson to Georgia Tech, and this is not like a small deal. Like Tae Harris is one of the best safeties in the country. Over at the 247 Sports Composite, he's ranked as the number 3 safety in the entire country, number 7 player in the state of Georgia, number 48 player in the country. Flips to Georgia Tech. I'll let Najeh have the floor here. I'm not going to ask RJ how he's doing. He's got to be doing pretty good. So, Najeh, kind of what kind of player is Georgia Tech getting in Tae Harris? What kind of impact could he make right away? And most importantly, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you asking. How y'all boys doing? Man, I'll tell you what, they are getting a superstar. Like I said it in my interview, he is elite. Like, and I don't say that lightly. Like I got a chance to go see him and call his game probably about a month or so ago when they played Cartersville. And man, you talk about a guy sideline to sideline. You talk about a guy that can read coverage. That can check the different things, a leadership, has a great leadership, a communicator, just a guy that understands the game. He plays at a different speed than most. And I mean, like he's practically everything for Cedar Town. Now, they're no longer in the playoffs, unfortunately, but I mean, you're talking about a guy that can run the football, catch the football on the offensive side of the ball, defensively, you know what I'm saying, can come down and play the box and play big hits. And one more thing is versatility, right? He could play any of those 5 positions in the secondary. How many guys can you say that at safety? He could play slot, corner, free safety, strong safety, all of that. And he said that's the difference that makes you get into the league, your versatility, being able to do many things well. And he has a really good head on his shoulders, man. Very cerebral, very smart. And peep this, he watches his own film, watches over like 10 hours of film. So this guy is a film junkie. So that's why he plays at a different speed.
Absolutely. RJ, what was your reaction when you heard this? I mean, it kind of felt like it was trending this way. I mean, once you start getting the predictions and the crystal balls from like every recruiting expert in the country, of course, we've got the number 1 recruiting expert on this show. Like it's once everybody starts, filing those in, it kind of became clear that this was going to happen. So what was your reaction when it actually did happen?
Yeah, it was huge, man, because you talk about, sometimes players are late bloomers. Tae Harris has been that guy for a long time. Like even from the beginning of his sophomore year, he was originally committed to Georgia, has played all 5 positions for multiple years, and I just think he's such a huge impact player. Obviously, the second highest player in the class, right behind Josh Petty. I just thought this was symbolic of what Brent Key has built. He is building that culture, and people really want to come and they want to play. And I think he can make a humongous day 1 impact. Huge athlete. As you said, he's a gym rat. He cares about football to the next level. And, it might be too early to say this, but he can play on Mondays. He's one of those guys.
Real quick, Jax, to kind of go off of RJ's point, he eats, breathes, and lives football.
Yes. Yeah. And like that's exactly what you want in a safety. And like, I think that's one of the reasons he could be like a day 1 impact guy. Like I hate, even with like the highest ranked players, like I'm always a little tepid about saying, well, he's going to be an instant day 1 guy, because like there is a leap, even if you're the most talented prospect in the world, going from high school to college, like there is a little bit of an adjustment period. So I'm sometimes cautious with that, but I do think he is somebody that could come in and play right away. LaMiles Brooks is a senior. He played his final home game Thursday night. You're losing him in the safety room. But like I said, he's a versatile guy that can play a lot of different positions. Like he could do a lot of different things. He's not just pinned in at safety. So do y'all know that Georgia Tech has, according to 247 Sports at least, has 3 top 100 players now in their 2025 class? Josh Petty, of course, the 5-star offensive tackle. Tae Harris becomes the 2nd highest rated player. And then Dalen Pinson, the cornerback over at Sandy Creek, like he is a top 100 player. Like I remember when we had you on back in the summer, me and you both said we liked the DB class. We liked what they had. And like that was before they added Tae Harris. Like I still think they have some underrated guys in this DB class. Like Phoenix Felton is a guy, like that was a great evaluation early on. And I think he is going to be a guy to watch. Like he's really risen up the ranks, and I think he's going to be a heck of a player. I think it was a great job by Brent Key. Also, great job by Corey Peoples, the defensive backs coach. Like he's done a really good job. He's a very good recruiter. He's done a good job with that group this year, and I'm excited to see what this brings. So it's remember early signing day's been moved up, so we're less than 2 weeks. I mean, it's not this Wednesday, but next. So there could be more good news on the way. We will definitely be here to cover it, but. Anything else we need to hit before we get out of here? I mean, now Tech has it. I think Georgia Tech is pretty safely in the number 2 spot in the ACC. Like another thing to capture how good of a player Tae Harris is. Clemson was slightly ahead of Georgia Tech yesterday in the recruiting rankings in the ACC and everything. Clemson dropped out of the top 25 in recruiting rankings right now. Like they're sitting at 29th right now. The number that they've fallen behind SMU, they now have the number 4 class in the ACC. They still have some good players in there, but it's just kind of jarring to see a school that has, the recent history of Clemson. I know they've not the national power they once were, but they're still ripping off 9 and 10 win seasons. But definitely a huge win for Georgia Tech here. Now I'll say this: depending on who they could get left, Georgia Tech is now at 17 with an average rating of 88.93, which is really good. They probably, unless Miami has some serious decommitments or Georgia Tech adds some just huge big-time players that are not on my radar right now, they probably won't catch Miami for the number 1 class, I don't think. Miami currently has the number 10 class in the country, 266 points in 247. Like that's a pretty big gap to make up. But finishing with the number 2 recruiting class is just a phenomenal accomplishment if they are in fact able to do it. And right now they have a really good cushion against Clemson right now. Like they're a pretty good bit ahead of them. We'll see maybe what the Tigers do. SMU may have a trick or two up their sleeve. They're sitting with the number 3 class in the ACC right now, but there's just no other way to say it. It's just a huge, massive commitment. I mean, it's a top 50 player, obviously a potential day 1 guy once he gets on campus, and just great job all around from the staff. Coming off a big win, and now you have the biggest game of the year coming up on Black Friday. A chance to beat Georgia for the first time since 2016. We're obviously going to get more into that next week. But anything else, fellas? Any notes we need to hit?
I just want to say real quick, Jax, Georgia Tech is not done yet, as you've alluded to. They're still trying to fill in that wide receiver void as well. Jordan Allen from Buford is a name to know, name to watch for them. Obviously, Sam Turner, they're still not giving up on that just yet. So they're still going to look to kind of get that spot filled, that wide receiver group. So that's going to be interesting. And one more thing about Tay, y'all. This year is the first year for the Mr. Georgia football. He's a finalist for the award. That goes to tell you the season he's having as well. Over 1,000 yards rushing, 230 yards receiving, 18-plus touchdowns, and over 70-plus tackles. Just wanted to point that out, too.
Just phenomenal. Anything else from you, RJ?
Yeah, the one stat I wanted to mention, the top 8 recruits in Georgia Tech's class are all from Georgia. And they're all top 50 recruits from 247 in the state of Georgia. Like, Key has just done such an incredible job, keeping guys in state coming to Tech, and I think that's huge.
Yep, absolutely. But that's going to do it. It's just a little quick instant reaction. We're going to have tons of content coming next way. We're going to have Najeh back on with early signing day, evaluating the class. That'll be an awesome show to have, so be sure to be there for that. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you know when new content comes out. Follow us whatever you do over on podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow us, leave us a review. We really appreciate the support you guys have shown us. It really means a lot to us. We love doing this and can't thank you guys enough. So we really appreciate that. And also going forward, this show now has fans of 2 Cy Young winners this week. I know Najeh's not a baseball guy, but Chris Sale is a Cy Young winner. Your guy over there in Detroit is a Cy Young winner. So that's how I'm going to start introducing this podcast: is 2 fans of Cy Young winners moving forward. So it's been a good week for RJ. That's why I didn't want to ask how he's doing, because I know how he's doing. But we will see you guys next time, and appreciate everything. Thank you for watching.